People who monitor their weight generally manage their weight better. People who monitor their calories generally monitor their intake better.
People that have got newborns, they're like, oh, like, how do I improve my sleep? You're not going to for the next year.
Monitoring sleep. So I had an individual who was working 18 hours a day, and he'd look at his sleep score. It was so bad. We physically can't improve your sleep because you're working 18 hours a day to launch a company.
If you're just collecting data and not doing anything with it and not using it to make any habit change or behavior change, it's useless.
I'm Ryan Stevens.
Dr. Taylor Waters.
I'm Ben Olliver.
Welcome to the Superhuman Show, yeah?
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Superhuman Show with your host, Ben Olliver, the Doc, Mr. Taylor Waters, and Mr. MSC, Ryan Stevens. Today, talking about wearable trackers. So I have a Garmin. You've got a
Apple Watch.
I got my phone.
Got your phone.
Oh, I'm that there. 1, 2.
Yeah. Count your steps.
59. They call me Ryan Farah.
This is a good one because we I don't want to say we recommend trackers to our clients, but more so just for steps. That's one of the main ones that we like to use steps as a measure of neat because it's very easy to track. It's very cost effective to track. And it's quite a good metric just to see how much someone is moving through the day. It's not that there's anything. I mean, I think walking is fantastic, but it's not that that's the thing. We're more just looking at, is this person consistently moving the same every day? And what typically happens when you diet or you go in a calorie deficit, your body's response is to try and be a bit more lazy to conserve energy. And if you're not tracking your steps, what typically happens is they will naturally go down. You'll fidget less. You'll want to move less because your body's trying to, again, conserve energy. So by tracking it, we can either increase it, if we hit a plateau, or we can, at the very minimum, keep it the same. But then obviously with the wearables that are available now, because it used to be like a pedometer that you would have on your hip,
Shout out to Brian P.
Yeah, Brian P.
Barrett as well. Barrett's a pedometer guy.
I love Barrett.
Yeah.
I was chatting to him the other day. He's great.
He's good egg.
So the other metrics that now we've got access to because of like smartwatches and things are resting heart rate, HRV, sleep quality, not just sleep hours, but sleep quality.
Calories burned.
Burned. And so I think like the Whoop straps as well give you like a recovery score, like a body battery kind of thing. Will give you recommendations on when to push, when to pull. I think overall these things are net positive.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like again, one of our key tenets is to use data to make informed decisions. But that sentence is crucial. It's like use the data to make the decisions. If you're just collecting data and not doing anything with it and not using it to make any habit change or behavior change, it's useless. It's numbers for the sake of numbers. The amount of times that I see people, they'll be like, oh, sleep score 72. Oh. And then it's like, oh, my sleep score's not very good. It's like, well, what have you done to try and improve it? Nothing. It's just it like I'm playing the lottery. I'm just rolling the dice and seeing what it is today.
Yeah.
And then equally the recovery score, the body battery, it's almost like embedded suggestion where you wake up and you're like, I feel great. I am ready to just crush my workout today. Recovery score 20. You need to rest. Oh, I do feel a bit tired today.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. You wake up, you got a snotty nose, you feel like shit. Oh, but my recovery score says 90. It said I should overreach today. Oh, guess I got to go.
Yeah.
And people stop relying on their intuition, which again is when we spoke about that with nutrition. Intuition is normally fucked up, and that's why people should track their food, because your intuition has led to you gaining 50 pounds over 10 years. But you do have to listen to your body to some extent.
You can almost use it as an excuse not to go to the gym or go for a walk. But those same people, they'll still go to work or go out in the evenings or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's almost like they'll give themselves a reason not to do the things that are going to move them closer to their goals.
Go ahead.
It's some of the key behavior change techniques that we use are self-monitoring of behavior and self-monitoring of outcome. And that's what it is. But it's a behavior change technique that you can use to change behavior. And sometimes you do. It's like if you start monitoring your steps, suddenly you start to actively try
it's an awareness prompt,
do more.
isn't it?
Yeah. It's just like people who monitor their weight generally manage their weight better.
Yeah.
People who monitor their calories generally monitor their intake better. So it's like they can be used very well, but if you have no intention of actually making any change off the back of monitoring that outcome, well, then it's like, well, now you're just gonna look at the outcome and go, oh,
Yeah.
there we go. It is what it is. And it's like, well, now if anything, you'd just be better off ditching the monitoring and just living in bliss where I don't even have to look at it.
And that's it, really. Like, if you look at it, like from what you said, data is just neutral. Is the person looking at it and how they use it.
Yeah.
That's what
Perception
counts.
of it.
And you can, if we really want to go into like the technicalities of it, because people will stress over, they'll say, well, I've been wearing my Garmin and like I've been carrying my phone with me, and this says I've done 8,000 steps, but this says I've done 6,000. Which one's right? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, because no one's actually counting your steps. And then it's maybe you did a little shuffle in the kitchen and that counted it as a step and that one didn't. The only thing we're relying on is it's consistently measuring the same. You're using the same tool, no different than body weight scales. They're all calibrated slightly differently. One might put you at 200 pounds, one might put you at 202. And then you'd say, well, which one's right? You say neither, just use the same one. Because we're looking at the trends
and consistency.
Yeah, it's not the actual number that we're interested in. It's the trend. Is it going up? Is it going down?
The number's irrelevant, isn't it?
Because it's the same thing. Like we're literally just talking with the heart rate. Like mine doesn't take my heart rate because my tattoo underneath, and so randomly it will pick it up. And so if I was using that to gauge my training fitness or something, it's completely skewed because it will just randomly jump in at random times, or it's only tracking half the beats. And I'm like, I can feel my heart rate pulsing in my head after like a cardio session. It's like 90 beats a minute. And I'm like, well, that's bullshit because I'm about to die.
But you're resting.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a measurement error with that, I can tell you that.
So like, but it's funny you do that because like I know elite endurance athletes that they'll finish a run and they'll go, and it's like they're still doing just the old school. It's like we can't beat it. Like it's like this is the most like you do that for 30 seconds, double it. Like cool, now you've got your heart rate for the minute.
There's no way I'm accurately counting that.
But
especially if I'm winded.
Yeah. But the point being with that as well is that people got in phenomenal shape before wearables were available. You got Lance Armstrong when he was a kid destroying people. No smartwatches then.
Yeah, he had something else.
They had EPO, baby.
Much smarter.
Yeah.
Much better than this bad boy.
So moral of the story, just trade in your Fitbit, EPO and some testosterone.
Save money on the Garmin.
Yeah. But I think my biggest not even gripe with them, just one thing to be aware of them is like, are you actually using the data or is it paralyzing your thought process because it's almost causing you more stress. It's almost like when you have clients who obsess over the body weight scale and, it's going up, it's going down, it's fluctuating, like, oh, this is really frustrating. And then you're like, cool, now let's have you stress over 5 more metrics, like, and just get lost in these numbers. And no different than in bodies. Oh, like I did an in body, it said I've lost 3 pounds of lean muscle. Like, why is this diet not working and I'm losing muscle? And I'm like, you've added 20 pounds to your bench. Like you haven't lost muscle.
Yeah.
But it like people will, if you're not from a scientific background or you just don't know about these kind of tools enough, you don't understand how inaccurate they can be and the pitfalls to them. And so you take the data as gospel and it's like, well, the in-body said I'm at 15% body fat. I want to get to 10. And I'm like, I can see veins down your abs. Like you're not 15% body fat. And so it can work with you as a coach. It can also be a pain in the ass when you have clients that are just so obsessed in the numbers when they're even not doing moving the big rocks. And it's like you're talking to me about your HRV for the last 2 weeks, but you haven't hit your calories for a single day. You've done half of your workouts. You drink alcohol, and you stress eat. So it's like HRV is so far away from anything that we need to even look at.
Yeah.
But you're obsessing over this number as a means to kind of ignore the other big rocks, the other more boring, less novel rocks, like not overeating.
Yeah. What you're actually looking to do, you're looking to improve your behaviors in a way that they relate to the goals that you have. And it's like a perfect example of more like scale data we use quite a lot. We take, a weekly average, weigh ideally 7 days a week, take an average, compare over time. And by looking at the trends in scale data, we're trying to use that to inform what we do from a behavioral standpoint. But like one of my guys, he hasn't got, he doesn't want to be shredded, but he wants to be in decent shape, but more so just wants to live a good lifestyle. Like he wants to be happy with the lifestyle that he lives. He wants to give a good impression to his kids. He wants to exercise. He wants to eat well, but he also is from an Italian-American background, and he likes those pizza pastas.
It's the hardest.
Pizza pasta parties.
That's the hardest demographic because their food is so delicious.
So good.
And it's like ingrained in their culture as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Italian pizza. Oh,
Yeah. And like in Wales, we got cowl and lava bread. So it's always all right, innit? Leave that.
Yeah.
But no. So monitoring the scale data, he wasn't using it to inform what he does from a dietary standpoint. And it was pissing him off because it's like, I get to the weekend, it's like, I want to enjoy, this pizza because I got this party to go to, and my family are there, and we're gonna have a and I'm trying to cut it down. I'm trying to eat a little bit less, but also I want to engage in it. I'd get on the scale, I'm spiked up. I'd get pissed off and I'd throw the towel in on Sunday, and then I'd end up just eating. So now it's like you're monitoring data and it's actually having a negative impact on the behavior we're trying to get. So it was like, for him, I was like, well, do you want to just not track it? And he was like, yeah. There we go. So since we haven't tracked, he literally hadn't tried like religiously tracking data. He'll go like a month and he'll still do some of these things, but his ability to get back in the saddle is much, much better. He doesn't use it. He doesn't annoy him. He's enjoying the process more. He's training more consistently. He's tracking his diet way more consistently, more accurately. But then it's like, oh, we might step on the scale in like 2 months' time. He's like, oh yeah, I'm down 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Sound way better than what he was doing before. He's enjoying the process more, which means he's going to adhere to it longer and better. So it was like sometimes it's a perfect example of like most people that I work with, I get them to monitor scale data. Most. Because in general, it has a good effect on their behavior. But for some people, it's like you have to look, what is this doing for us? Is it serving the job that it's supposed to? If it's not, bin it off.
Yeah. I find, so I've had a similar experience with like monitoring sleep. So I had an individual who was like working 18 hours a day, and he'd look at his sleep score. It was so bad. And I'm like, you were just going to work even more now because you got a bad sleep score. Like, we know your sleep is bad. Like, I can tell you that. Just like, when you're tired.
You only go to bed for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I can tell you.
And it's like, we physically can't improve your sleep because you're working 18 hours a day to launch a company. So let's just not track it.
And you're not willing to change
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. And that's it. So it's like, just don't track it. Launch a company. We'll sort the sleep out later.
Same thing with like, people that have got newborns. They're like, how do I improve my sleep? And it's like, you're not going to for the next like year.
Yeah.
Like,
you chose to have a child.
So what we do is we adjust your plan to, factor that in. So, we're probably not going to push the gym workouts crazy hard or the calorie deficit really hard whilst you're continually fatigued. Yeah. It's like we're just going to ease back a little bit, or even go into maintenance, for a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think the one metric that all of these trackables give you is like a calorie burn, like a calorie expenditure. And that's the one which is the most inaccurate. And I've got the perfect client to show this. And because I use this when we onboard new coaches, because the software that we use, because it syncs up with the smartwatches and stuff, it shows you the calorie intake that's synced up from MyFitnessPal versus what their Garmin or watch is kind of giving them as an output. And I said it's a really poor graphic to use to give feedback to clients because it's not accurate. And if they're using that as, well, my watch is telling me I'm burning this much, why am I not losing weight? And then you have to say, because you're not burning that much. And so we know that if you can track your food very, very accurately with what we have available now with MyFitnessPal, food labels, they have to be within a certain margin to legally put it on the food. We've got weighing scales, which are pretty accurate. We can track intake very, very well. And then you've got your watch, which is essentially basing off, movement and heart rate to calculate this expenditure. Maybe some stats as well if you put in your height and weight and stuff. But then this client, I use him as an example when I onboard coaches, is his watch will on average tell him he's burning 4,000 calories a day, and his current calorie target is 2,600. And then I pull up his weight chart and I said, he's been within 1 pound of his body weight this whole time. So you tell me which one is incorrect, his intake or his output. And so it's a useless metric to use other than consistency. Like if you're looking at the expenditure from I'm going to try and get this number the same, it's not an accurate number, but then you could say, well, you could equally use steps, like, because that's pretty much the same thing. And so like I really like my top 3 metrics that I would track. Like I would have a 4th one as like an optional, would be calorie intake, which is manual. You know, you do have to track it yourself. Steps and body weight. And then the only other one which I may want to look at over time is resting heart rate, because if you're gradually improving your overall aerobic fitness, that resting heart rate will likely go down. But you know, having said that, if suddenly average heart rate, resting heart rate is going down, you get to the end of a diet, now you're using more stimulants, you're drinking more caffeine, you're using a couple monsters, you're chewing nicotine, your average heart rate might go up. Maybe you've now had a newborn and your sleep starts to suck, average heart rate starts to go up. So like that's quite a useful one to look at, kind of overall kind of stress and fitness with a long-term trend, because it's going to fluctuate. You know, if you're overreaching on your training, your average heart rate is going to go up. There's loads of variables that will go into it. So that's kind of like a maybe. Yeah. But those 3, because the reason why I really like steps, you know, even if you're using a pedometer, is, you know, before we used to track steps, you would give someone specific cardio, like 30-minute walk, 30 minutes on the treadmill post-training, an hour fasted walk in the morning, whatever it is. And people would do it, but the problem is that now you're not monitoring what they're doing for the rest of the day. Yeah. So if I could be really active through my day, but now my coach has given me an hour of cardio in the morning and I'm a bit more tired, and then I start sitting down on my ass the rest of the day, the calories burned in that hour isn't making up for the fact that now I'm moving less for the remaining 8 hours of the day. And I'd almost be better saying, we'll do a 30-minute walk, but keep moving through the day. But just by tracking steps, we can monitor that movement, rather than saying to someone like, don't be lazy. It's like, well, you're naturally going to be lazy. And so it's good to attach a number to it, being like, look, we can see that you're moving less through the day. Yeah. I want you to try and keep this more consistent.
I had that with an endurance athlete who was gaining weight when we were trying to drop a little bit of body fat. She's like, I'm doing a 2-hour session, like, and I'm not dropping weight. It's like, yeah, but you're not moving the rest of the day.
We call it like the sedentary athlete.
Yeah.
Where it's like you train your ass off for 2-3 hours a day and you do fuck all for the rest of the day. Like it's basically us.
Myself.
Like like you know, you go in the gym, you do your cardio or whatever, but then your overall NEAT is pretty low. Yeah. Whereas when I'm not doing cardio in the gym, my NEAT's always a lot higher because I've got more energy. I want to go out and go for walks and stuff. If I've done like an hour conditioning session after my weight, it's like my legs are fried. I don't want to go for a walk. Like I'm exhausted.
It's like if you do a 2-hour session and you accurately track the calories burned in that one, and then you're awake for 12 and you do 10 hours of walking, I can guarantee you're going to burn so much more walking those 10 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like you would look at say one of my gym sessions where I might lift for 45 minutes and then run for an hour. And it's like, oh, he trains a fair whack. He burns a load of calories. Then I go inside, have a shower, sit at my desk and work for 10 hours. Yeah. And then my day's done. Yeah. So, but then you look at, say, my brother who might not train, but then he's a carpenter. So he's on his feet all day. He's moving doors. He's fitting doors. He's hammering. He's sawing. He finishes work. Then he goes plays golf. So he's on his feet again for another few hours. Then he goes home. So it's like if he told him, well, golf's not hard. Golf's just swinging a club, going for a bit of a walk. All right, he's in work, great. But it's like he probably burns way more than I burn. But if you watched that 2 hours, you'd be like, oh, he must burn loads. But yeah, it can be misleading massively.
It's good for awareness, because people, again, when we onboard clients, you know, we ask, you know, how active are you during the day? Are you on your feet all day? Do you work in an office? And a lot of times people say, oh no, I'm really active. I'm always on my feet. And then you look and it's like, your steps are 4,000 a day. Like you're not, objectively, you're not that. If we're using 10,000 as like I would say 10,000 steps a day, you're moderately active. Yeah. Not super active, but like you're moving. Yeah. And then you realize they're doing half that. It's like, you're not as active as you think you are. And that's probably why you're stalled.
Do you know what's huge as well in terms of like perceived activity is, I see this a lot, especially with our sort of clientele, but also like with mums who are with their kids and stuff all day, is they're mentally busy. So they've got a lot on their minds. They've got to plan the food shop. They've got to make sure the kids are ready for school. They've got to drop them to school. They've got to get home. They've got to sort the house out. They've got to pick things up. And they're like, oh, and then you ask them, are you active? I'm so active. I'm on the go all day. You put a step tracker on them and it's like, you do 3,500 steps.
Yeah.
Like you're actually sedentary. But because you're on the move, you're on the go, you feel like you're being very active, but it's actually, you're just mentally active. You're not actually physically moving at all. You actually spend a lot of time sat down doing nothing.
Yeah.
Well, like most people don't know, they overestimate how much activity they do and underreport how much food they eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you gain weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're very useful from because you don't have to do anything. Like put it on your wrist, leave it on there all day, and it will track your steps and stuff. Like I think that's awesome. Like we're not having to count steps or anything. Even with food, intake,
you won't get much else done if you count it.
Even with food intake, like you still manually have to do it to an extent.
Yeah.
Whether you're following a meal plan, you have to be aware of weighing out your portions or whatever. If you're using MyFitnessPal, you're scanning barcodes, searching food. You have to do something. Whereas with steps and things like that, you just keep it on your wrist. I think the recovery aspect of them, like the body battery and stuff, like my body battery's been at like 10 for like the last 2 months, but I've improved, like my training's improved like continuously.
You look great as well.
Nicotine solves that problem.
It's just stim your way out of it. But again, it's like, I'm going to look at, well, how do I actually feel?
Yeah.
Like, do I feel sore? Am I motivated to train? Objectively, am I improving in the gym? Like, are my sets and reps going up? Like, is my recovery better? Like, am I able to push harder on my aerobic stuff? So, you don't need a wearable for that. So I think, like, are they essential for progress? Absolutely not. Can they be a really, really useful tool? Yes. Can they be a detriment? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So again, it's like using the right tool and the right data for the right job. And for some clients, they might be data junkies to their detriment. To others, we need a load of data. If you're working with an endurance athlete, like we need, you're working in different zones for different training effects. You're looking at, some of them have got GPS on, so you can track mileage and stuff like very accurately. Like that stuff's really, really useful. But for general body composition change, like body weight, steps, and food intake.
So in terms of an activity track, your steps, pedometer.
So the one I track.
You can use those three and get in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
And equally, you can get in great aerobic shape, and all of those other things without using those monitors. Again, like people got in shape before they were around.
People monitor with like aerobic stuff. It's like you can just monitor minutes and you can monitor perceived effort.
Yeah.
There's no tracker needed there.
Yep.
How long did I go and how hard did I find it?
Because even if you're working in heart rate zones for like, zone 2, zone 3 or whatever, if you had, a really strong coffee before you trained, like you're going to be in zone 3 when your probably perceived effort is zone 2. Like it's quite easy. And so I really like perceived effort for that. But then equally that's got its downfalls where someone's perceived effort could be like, oh, it's really hard. But then I'm like, your heart rate's like 90. Like you're not even in zone 2 yet. So
you got some good music in the headphones and you feel great when actually you're gunning it and you need to step it back a little bit.
So like there's so many, it depends. And it again, like we said in a previous podcast, like it's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
There's going to be certain tools for certain jobs. There's going to be certain metrics for certain clients. But I think the first thing people do is, they get a Whoop strap or an Oura ring or something like, oh, I'm going to track all of this stuff and I'm going to, biohack my way to, being the best person ever. And it's like, but you're not even willing to track your food. And it's like, the only reason you like it is because it does it all for you and you're not having to do anything. But equally without behavior change, it's useless.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you said it earlier with sleep. Like I like data, but I can obsess over data as well. I can, once I start going down a rabbit hole, I can start to overcook it. So I find I have to find that balance between monitoring enough that keeps me motivated and allows me to make informed decisions, but then doesn't actually start to have a
Negative effect.
a detrimental effect on what I do. And like one of the things is, so sleep, for example, like I don't monitor my sleep, because if I was monitoring my sleep, I would be lying in bed awake thinking about, oh God, that sleep score is going to be poor tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so now it's having a negative effect on my sleep, because I'm thinking about trying to get to sleep, because the sleep score is going to be bad. And then if the sleep score is bad, how am I going to feel doing work, and how am I going to feel in the gym? Yeah. And then similar from a recovery score standpoint, a big part of the reason why I train is because I like it. So if I wake up and it's like, oh, you shouldn't train today, I'm like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Like, this is the only good part of my day today, and I can't even do it.
Yeah.
That's like my me time, and then my watch is telling me I can't go because of my recovery score.
Have an active recovery day, and it's like, it's fucking chest day, baby.
And then,
The active recovery.
Yeah.
And then that's going to annoy you even more and have even more negative
And
effect.
then you're like stressed.
Yeah, the next day I'd be like, you were stressed yesterday. It's like, yeah, because you didn't let me fucking train.
This negative cycle.
Yeah.
I'm trained in 2 weeks.
Yeah. So
Oh God! If I went off my sleep score, if I had one, I wouldn't have trained 2 years ago.
You'd be in recovery for a while.
Yeah. So like right tool for the right job, but overall, I think they're net
Right
positive.
tool, right job, right person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is why working with a coach can be very beneficial to say like, hey, don't worry about this data, focus on this data, or we don't even need to look at this yet, or we are going to look at this in this training phase or whatever. But yeah, I think they can be a nice addition, but absolutely not essential. Awesome, bit of a short one today, but I think we've really covered
everything
with the wearables. Wear them at your own peril. Awesome. Thank you as always, guys. Be sure to like and subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube. We'll see you next time.
If you love this show, please like, share, and leave us a 5-star review so that we can help more people. I'm John Madsen, reminding you to always go get what's yours.